Welcome, I'm Carly from Carly's Creative Clay. At the top of the hour I'm going to show you how to make a panda bear from polymer clay. See you then. Hi everyone, I'm Carly from Carly's Creative Clay. Hope you all had a good week. Just going to show you what we ended up with from last week now that they're baked. So let's get my leanie pot out of the way. Right, this is the slab pot, baked up, put some feet on it. I'm really pleased with that. Don't know what I'll use it for. I'll probably end up selling these guys because I've got all the pots that I need really. And this is the pinch pot, and again I put some little feet on it, same type of clay, and that's then finished. Hi Fairy Hedgehog. Right, this week we are going to do pandas. Pandas! Very, very cute, absolutely stupid, clumsy little animals, but very, very cute and actually easy to make. So, I haven't visited pandas for a long time. Hi Arty Hearty Life. This was one of my pandas from first year, second year of claying. Got the tail colour wrong. The eyes are really weird. Can you see how they, let's go towards the back, how they stick out? Yeah, so few problems there. So what I did was yesterday, day before, I revisited pandas just to check what I'm like now and get a decent picture to talk about this stream. And this is what we're going to make, this little guy. But we're going to do it as one of my big statues with the hearts, the crystal hearts that I got. So I made a base already. There is a video on me doing swirly clay on my YouTube channel. Save everyone from watching it almost every week because I use it so much. But I actually did this one from a cane that I made. So it's got this interesting dotty pattern to it. So it's slightly different from a normal swirly one. And I chose blue to go with it. And the same cane to do the back. So, the real trick to making a panda, it does. I think lava when I saw it, but yeah, I can totally see tiger in that as well. Right, the trick with making a panda is you've got to do all the white first with your prep work and then all the black. So, let's first start out. Give you a look at the typical black and white panda. That's this guy. So if you see, he's got a black bar that goes from his front paws around the back, around the chest. Back legs are black, the tail is white, the ears are black. Most of the head is white apart from the eyes and the nose. Those are the core components we're getting from him. Just as a side note, he's not the only type of panda. I was sure there was only one type of panda, no subspecies. But there is a subspecies. It's a quinling panda, Quinling. It's a brown panda. Or I've been calling it a tanda because it looks more tan coloured to me. But isn't it pretty? So yeah, we're not going for the brown one. We're going for the original black and white one. But I thought I'd share that with you because interesting, and it's hard for me to learn new facts about animals. I tend to have most of them. Unless it's birds' names or fish names, and then I'm rubbish. But mammals I'm pretty good with. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my old panda model, because it's got all the colours in the right place apart from the tail. And I'm going to think about all the bits on it that are white. And I'm going to make those first. So, first off, round ball of white for the body. It needs to be probably one of the biggest bits because that's going to be all that abdomen. Now again, why am I even using that one? That is actually proportioned dodgily. So, big round ball for the tummy to one side. Then I'm going to make the towel. So, tiny little white ball. We're going to pinch and twist, turn it into a teardrop. Soften at the pointy end if you brought it up to too much of a point. We're going to stick that anywhere on that ball that you like, because that is going to be the bottom. Down there, like so. Put that to one side. Then we're going to work on the head. Is the next bit of white. So again, a ball roughly half the size of that big white one is what we're going to need. Then a little ball for the muzzle. Now for the muzzle, that ball you're going to roll along the middle line like so and turn it into a kind of fat tic-tac shape. Okay, and again, because it's a ball, it doesn't matter where you put it on. You're going to then position that as the bottom once you've got it placed. But push it down, make sure it's on firmly. You can push the sides down as well, just to make sure that there isn't too much of a joining gap, that it's all securely attached, like so. Okay. Now that will be the bottom of your head. So roll it down so that it's down towards the base of the board. Then you're going to make the little, I'll do the little paws next. And again, that's just making 4 balls that are slightly bigger for the dot in the middle. Envisioning on that scale what size your paws are gonna, your legs are gonna be, and whether that fits. So I have got 4 of them, so 4 big balls and 3, 6, 9, 10, 11, 12 tiny little balls like that. I've got them over to one side, so I'm not going to move them off yet, because once you made them you're going to put them off to one side. Okay, now again we need eyes and ears, the white dots for them, and they are just balls at the moment, so they are my white dots for my eyes. Now the ears is what we're going to need next. Where are we? That would be you and you. Right, what we're going to need to do for the ears, little white balls, going to need to press them flat into little discs like so. Don't have to make them terribly thin, so not so thin that it's going to fold on itself or cause any problems.
Liz says good morning. Oh, a cute panda.
Hi, good morning. We're doing pandas today. And once you've got your flat disc, leave it stuck to your finger and then get your thumb and push along one side. You might need to hold it secure with a finger on top. You're just going to tap on the side like that, and then you get a little semicircle.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, the brightness is...
Trying to turn it down so that
sorry,
you get
it's
more
trying to turn the brightness
detail.
down. You can also, the other way of doing it, get your disc, so pushing your ball flat, then hold it at the top and just use your counter, tap it on that, and that also gives you that flat bit. So your little semicircles, you're going to put them to one side. So that's all your white bits made up. We've now got to make up the black bits. Now, some things that I find helpful to stop you from making your white bits smudge with black. Get some kitchen roll to hand. The other thing I like to use, you can either use your rubbing alcohol, or I sometimes use antibacterial hand gel, because it's usually an alcohol in it, just so that you can clean your hands between colours. Obviously, if you're not tied to your desk filming, you can always go and use a sink, wash your hands, use a nail brush. I find just soap and water and rubbing isn't enough. You need to get a nail brush on there. Or sugar scrub is another good one for getting all that black off, but it doesn't get under the nails quite well. So we're going to go bottom to top. So let's get our Panda in view. So we need to do 2 bottom legs. So that's the 2 balls for it. And we're going to roll them into little sticks, the length we want our legs. Make sure that they're the same length, because you don't want a panda with odd legs, at least not accidentally. You might want to go there on purpose. I don't know what the panda looks like that you're modelling off of, but certainly have a look. Right, once you got that, choose which side's going to be the front, and you're going to push that side flat like so. So you see on this one it's very flat as opposed to the one I've not done, and it's got that kind of curve. It's going to be harder for you to stick all the pour dots on if it's curved like that. You may find pushing it down you end up with some finger crease like indents. Just give it a quick roll again and they'll come back out nicely. There we go. Check they're the same length, and they are, so they can go to one side. Now for this big body bit, that's the most finagling bit of it all. We're going to start with a ball, and what you need this ball's clay to be enough for both arms and the strip across.
Do you want to show us the model again?
So let's show you the model. Can you see it goes all the way round like that? I'm going to show you how to make that. What we're going to do is first roll the ball into a very thick stick, the size you want those shoulders to be, and if you see they are bigger than the arms, it's thicker, so quite a thick stick like that. Then we're going to decide how far we want the shoulder blades to go across. So I think you can look at your white ball for that. Get your white ball in place. I think on this about that far across before we want to start going for arms. Where you want the arms to start, you then push and twist to thin those sections down. So you're squeezing it out and rolling. You want to get these the same length as each other, the same kind of thickness all the way along, and roughly the same thickness as your legs. We're going to also flatten each end like we did on the legs, so it's easier to put paws in. And if you want to roll it, because there's that dip down, what I advise, I'll do it on a glass mat, but take it to the edge of your cutting board and, sorry, I had that buried. Put it on the edge of the board like that, and then roll along there, and any dents that causes you can just smooth out very easily, like so. Now use the edge of your table. I'm quite happy with those. So that's what you're going to end up with. Yeah, that goes to one side. Let's move this out your way. So we've now got 2 eye patches, the little black back bits. They're balls. You're just gonna, oops, I picked up a little white ball there. There we go. Push them reasonably flat, but enough so that they don't flop over. See, it's not so thin that it's all folding around and you can't manage it. There are your eye patches. And again, we've got the main part of the ear, 2 balls for that. And it's the same as what we did with the semicircles for the insides of the ear. Push it flat to the thickness you want your ear. Then either push it on a tabletop or on your thumb. You will find when you're working with black stains your fingers. Sorry. So, like that. Yep. Black will stain your fingers, and sometimes, especially if you've got quite dark fingertips like what I have, you might not see the trace of black on them, so it's always worth cleaning. And lastly, we've got the nose. Tiny little ball. Form that into a teardrop by pinching and twisting, and flatten up the top just slightly with your finger. You don't want to make it sort of so flat that you're pushing it on a board. It leaves 2 sharper top corners. You want them to be slightly rounded. And we are now go for construction, so clean your hands up. Where I've not had to roll these balls out, my hands aren't so bad, so I should be able to construct quite well. So first stage, you get your big ball, make sure you know where your towel is, and I pronounce that terrible, I know this. It sounds like hand drying towel, and it's not, it's tail. Yeah. Part Cockney, part weird accent. Sorry guys. Work out which side of your back legs are the rounded and which one are the flat, and then we're going to put them on a tabletop, flat facing towards you, in line with each other. So if you're worried, get something like your ruler or your blade, make sure they are lined up. Yeah. Put my blade away because blade safety is important. Hospitals do not need more patients at the moment. Then we're going to, using this, work out how far apart we're going to roll those. And we want them just slightly wider than that stomach. I'd say that looks good to me. Like that. And just slightly further back than where the towel, well, just before the towel in height. Once you're happy with its placement, push it down firmly, but don't smudge your ball shape out. Sometimes you might have to push from the side down rather than just all on the top. But what you want at the end is to be able to shake those legs and they're not coming off. So that's our first bit of black and white joining. Now at this stage I get a bit of old florist wire or a cocktail stick, and we're going to poke that into the middle there just to help extra strength. You don't want it to go all the way down and through your piece. I've got it probably halfway through.
So how far down does it go?
So that wire, it feels to me that it stops about there to me. You get used to eyeballing it and doing it by feel, but it's not drastic. Just don't bring it all the way through so that you've got a hole poking at the bottom of your Panda. If you do, bring it back up, plug it with a bit of white, smooth it over. And it doesn't matter massively if you're going to put it on a base anyway, because they're going to have to do some serious contortionism with your statue to be able to see it. So now we've got those bottom legs in place, we're going to do that band and top arms. So you get in your black, you find the middle of that section, and you're going to poke that through the middle. I advise you get over the top of it and look down. I hold the wire and secure it to stop me from bending it around too much, because if you wiggle the hole in the white, then that obviously is going to create a wider hole. It's going to distort the hole, and you want it all nice and firm. Once it's on, it'll pop through nice. Push it down firmly. Again, you don't want to squash anything. Enough to stick, not enough to distort. So, we're like that. Okay? Then we're going to get these arms and bring them forward where you want. And just do a bit of poking around and shaping so that you're happy with it. I'm going to bend those arms up a little bit more, like this. So we now got arms, nice big round belly, tail, nice big fat shoulder blades, because pandas are pretty buff. I know they look cute and cuddly and fluffy and all that, but they're bears. Humans don't do well. If it gets annoyed, it really can go after you. And there have been people like, I see how good they are with their keepers and their little cute fluff balls. So I'm going to break into a panda enclosure in a zoo. Yeah, not good. They are mostly vegetarian. Like 1% of their diet is not bamboo. All very oddly specific with pandas. They have to have at least 2 different types of bamboo or they starve to death. And of the 1% other things, it's small animals, eggs, carrion. That's it from the wild. But they're known to raid farms. And raid farms for very specific things. Pumpkin, kidney beans, wheat and pig feed. Weird animals. They really are. Pandas are so strange on every level. Picky eaters, picky breeders, they don't produce young yearly like most animals. It's 2 yearly. They will only breed for 10 years of their life, not the whole lifespan, even though they can do 20 years in the wild and 30 years in captivity. No. 10 years tops. So that head, check where your muzzle is, that it's down at the bottom, and you're going to place it on that spike in the middle. And make sure it's joined nicely onto those shoulders. There we go. I know it's a white background. Let me put my hand there so you can see a little bit better. Okay. So we're now on to, it's up to you. You can go feet and then face, or face and then feet. Personally, I like to do the feet first because I'm prone to knocking the ears off through not paying attention properly. So what I do is I put it on its back or cup it in my hands, but make sure I'm not squashing that towel into the body or anything. I'm holding it very loosely. Then let's move this out of the way and get all my feet dots. And put those on first. First off, you go for the bottom, the largest dot in the bottom in the center. Like so. I go around, I do feet dots in the center on all 4 feet. 3 and 4. There we are. Then for the 3 toe beans, do the middle one first. You'll be able to get your spacing far better than if you try and do them in a line. Then it's dealer's choice on whether you do the left or right side first. You need to do a little arch, follow the shape of the actual paw. And there we are. So repeat 3 more times. There we go. Let's try and speed it up a little. But it's a quick project, this, and it's a really good beginner's project. You don't need much in the way of tools. You don't need much in the way of finesse and polymer clay knowledge. It's lots of balls and sticks being stuck together. Like so. Let's push you up just slightly and push you down slightly. There we are. If you place them slightly in the wrong place, you can manipulate them a bit, but make sure that you're not rolling them too far, because where it's been in touch with the black, it will be grubby. So if you can, try and get them in the right place first time. But all's not lost. And any clay that gets grubby, don't chuck it. You can clean it down. I will show you that in a minute.
Very Hedgehog says, that's awfully cute.
He's very cute so far. Body's done. We now got to get that head looking less like an igloo and more like a panda. So, first off, we need a little smile. Now, you can use a cocktail stick to draw it in. What I'm planning to use is I've got a wax carving set. And I've got this nice little chisel that has, I don't know if you can see, a semicircle chisel end. So what I'm going to do, but use a cocktail stick to draw it, is absolutely fine. You're going to do a little smile, and it's down at the bottom of the muzzle. Okay, you might need to darken up the screen a bit for that. There you go, see, little smile in there, but a cocktail stick will do that just fine. Then we're going to put that little nose on that we made right in the center of the muzzle towards the front. Just sticking up slightly, like so. You can see where I've positioned it towards the front in the center. Make sure that nose is stuck on. It's one of the things that are liable to fall off. So you should be able to do that without a nose come tumbling. Okay? Now we're on to eyes. So the first thing we need are those back patches. I think the dot I made was slightly too small, so I'm going to squidge that and make it slightly bigger. And these ones actually look slightly better if you don't have it as a perfect circle. Just put a few dents and pinches out to make it look a little bit more patchy and misshapen, because it's a fur mark. Do you see what I mean? So it's mostly circular, slightly wonky out. You can make them perfect circles if you want everything to be made of perfect circles, but I actually think this looks more natural. So coming along, pinching this one out a bit more. I'll show you as soon as I place the second one. Like so. Now I wanted to get this and smudge them on. I can see my fingers are dirty. Again, it's not terrible. There is ways of cleaning it but that does mean you're getting stuff. So we've got the back eye patches on. Yeah? Now, personally, I like to use my ball tool at this point. You don't have to. You can either find something with a rounded end. I actually find some knitting needle backs are pretty good. Or you can leave them flat and stack them up. That's fine. But I'm going to make a little eye socket for my ball to sit in the center of these. Like that. Don't need to push it too far back, just a little socket. Then my white balls are going to go in the middle of that. Then my tiny little black ones down the bottom of that ball, like so. And you want it pretty level. Let's push the eye back a bit more. There we go. Now, you want the eyes to be facing in the same direction, or you're going to get a derpy panda. That's an option, but it's something I struggle with all the time. And I've done some really tiny dots just to do a little eye glint in the corner of the black. Like so. I'll hold it up as soon as I got this on. Right. There we are. Now, the decision here is, do we do top eyelids? I've not made any, but he does look a bit starey. So I might get a little bit of black and just show you how to do a top eyelid. You can do a bottom eyelid, but I think it really isn't necessary on this. I think it will make its eyes look a bit too closed. What you're going to do is get a little ball about the size enough to cover quite thin the top bit of your eyelid. So I'm going for a ball that size. Make sure the second ball you make is exactly the same size as the first one, or you're going to have one big eyelid and one little eyelid. Then from here you're going to push that ball flat, so it's a little disc, and like you did with the ears, you're going to flatten that down a whole lot more, so it's a lot thinner and longer than a normal semicircle, and you're going to pinch down at the edges. So what you end up with is that it's a little bit more triangular and the corners are quite sharp. Not sharp as in stab yourself, but they're not rounded. Pointy. If it was baked, it probably would poke you. 2 of those. So your ball goes into a disc. The disc gets pushed onto your finger and then pulled down at the corners to create that little pointy, it's almost leaf shaped, or you know the little cells you get in an orange segment, it's that sort of shape. Then you put it on in the middle and then wrap the edges down after. Yeah, that looks much better, like so. So let's put this one on. If I use my ball tool, then I can get my big chunky fingers out of the way and show you what I'm doing. So, but the ball tool doesn't grip. Okay, let's try and do this with my chunky fingers and still get you to be able to see. In the centre of the eye, like that. You see how the corners are sticking up still? Then once you've got it on, you can wrap those edge bits down and around, like so. Yeah? Now we need to finesse the eyes a bit. I'm just getting a ball tool in there. That might actually be too big a ball tool. You can leave it all with the joins in. It looks fine. It's just me being me. I like to vanish the top eyelid into the rest of the floof. I'll show you what I'm doing. I'm just running it around the top edge. If you haven't got ball tools, by the way, you can actually make your own. How I do it: cocktail stick, put a blob of polymer clay on, smush it down so it's firmly stuck to the stick, and then you start to shape your ball and work it with your fingers, and you can get a reasonable one. You don't get the size range that you get out of the metal ones. I got mine off of Amazon.
Can you move the statue forward a little?
I will do. Right, there we go. Its eyelids are now smoothed in. You can then also change the corners so it doesn't look so angry.
You're gonna have to show us face.
So I'm just pushing at those corners, pushing them up and out and smoothing in that mess I just made. There we go. Like so. And how you make your eyelids lay will give different expressions to your panda. Indeed, to anything you make. Like that. Right. So, all we have now to do is the ears and the clean up. So, the ears. Let's put our panda back to one side. Get our little black semicircle. If you haven't got a ball tool, just push the white onto the black like that and then stick that onto the head. If you do have ball tool sets, go in at the bottom of that white, push your ball tool in and just start to shape the ear around it. Give it a little twist and you've got that sort of shape. You've got more depth and ear-like to it. But the flat version is absolutely fine as well. Ain't nobody gonna reject your panda just because it hasn't got curves in his ears. So like this, on the bottom, leaning into the top. Then just curve, 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 curve. You don't want a big curve, just a small one. Then twist the ball tool and it comes off. Okay? Now, if you have got a ball tool, it will help you attach your ears. Don't forget a panda's ears are a little bit down to the side. Like so. Let's do the other side. Whoop. Make sure that they are not only laying in the right place down the sides of the head, but also I overstretched that ear. You haven't got one too far back and the other one too far forward, so check all around that they are symmetrical to each other. Then if you've got a ball tool, that's probably too small and that's probably too big, this is the right one. Come along and just help that join to stick down firmer. So I'm going along the edge where it attaches to the head and I'm just pushing to make sure that's joint on. There we go. We have a panda. What I'm going to do is get him in place. I told you I knock ears off. See what I mean? I'm a big one for knocking ears off of animals with stick out ears. Luckily I noticed and I reattached them. Once they're baked, they're fine. Just, I know what odd things I do with myself. Right, let's get him onto his base. So, I'm going to put him central. Once you've got the positioning how you want, make sure that the legs are pushed down firmly all the way to the back. Then I'm going to bring in, let's widen those fronts out just a little. I'm going to put the heart in between his arms like that. I will hold it up and show you what I've just done. That's the positioning I've done with my heart. There are smudges all over it. Can you see the fingerprints and black marks from black clay, even though we were trying to be careful? Comes on to me teaching you about cleaning. I get cotton buds. I go through quite a few of those. Now, I use isopropyl alcohol. You want it at 70% or higher. I find, although I buy 100%, I water it down with tap water. Now, rubbing alcohol is isopropyl alcohol and distilled sterile water, because it's meant for medical uses. We're cleaning a statue. It don't need to be sterile. Tap water's fine. I find using it at 100%, it melts too much. Personally, I find it less controllable than the 70%. And also, by watering it down to 70, your bottle of alcohol goes a lot further. What you're looking at doing, I put it in a lid so that if I knock something over, it's a small cap rather than the big bottle. You want your cotton bud kind of wet, not sort of wring out that is leaving big puddles, and you'll find it just starts to strip some of that black off. Let's show you. So, you might need to dim down the brightness. Can you see how grubby that is? It takes off fluff. It takes off all the grey that was on there. You can use it on tissue, but it does kind of spread everywhere. Just take some time and give your model a nice little clean up. I'm going to do that all the way around and then give him a bake. I hope this was useful. I'd love to see the pandas you guys end up with. Liking and sharing and just liking the video really actually helps build my channel. It really does. So if you watch this, it don't even have to be live. If you like it, please click the like button. It helps YouTube algorithm to know that this is a video that people might want to watch, and it automatically shares it a little more. So just by clicking that like button, you'll be doing me a big solid. And I hope you all have a really good week. Thank you very much, Arty Life. Next week I'm going to start a new big project that's going to go over several weeks. I'm going to make a coral reef statue. I'll go through it all next week, but picture yellow sand, corals, crabs, starfish on the sand, some fish stuck to the coral, that sort of thing. Gonna do a bit of research on it all this week, but that's my plan for my next one. So all have a good week, and I'll see you all next Wednesday. Bye guys.